Okay, so here we go. I'm going to walk you guys through what I did to make the intake manifold for my Suzuki bobber. First thing you really need to do is know what size exhaust tubing you're going to get, because that's what I used. So in my case, if you look through here, get past the speedometer cable, this is the boot that the carburetor would normally sit right onto, and this clamp that I temporarily have here, carburetor would normally be sitting right here. If you measure the inside diameter of that, that's about 1.75 inches, give or take, because it is metric. So went on to the local JEG website, got me some steel 1.75 inch J-bend exhaust tubing. I got the smallest bend radius that they had because I knew it was going to be fairly tight right in here. I got 2-inch radius, which is 4-inch diameter, obviously. So normally it would be a J. It would come around and then just keep going out like that. So when I got the tubing, I got the center of the J, cut a straight line across, then rotated it 90 degrees, which is what you see there. So I put a few tacks in this area. You can see this is all seam welded. Then once I got it positioned where I wanted there, I had to figure out where I wanted to put the carburetor side to side. So that was a simple matter of just kind of positioning it and then cutting the tubing. So now you're left with the task: how are you going to connect the carburetor to the intake? Well, go down to your local auto parts store, and since this is 1.75 inch tubing, I got 1.75 inch radiator hose. You can buy it by the foot. I didn't need that much, but I got it anyway. Band clamped it on, and then carburetor mounts directly to that. Then to strengthen this whole thing up, I made this piece. Now I know this looks like a screwdriver. I had a few people say, "Oh, look, you cut a screwdriver and bent it." No, this is a piece of 3/8 cold roll steel, and I hand forged the end. I'm going to redo this to get it away from looking like a screwdriver. But essentially what I did was I mounted it to the seat shock mount, and as you can see underneath, I came around and welded it in 2 places. So this is pretty secure. This isn't going anywhere. That's the easy part. Now the only thing you really need to know, or which is kind of common sense actually, is that this intake manifold, you're creating a vacuum. So when you do this weld has to be watertight, no ifs, ands, or buts. And actually, I used I sealed up one end with the radiator hose and a plug, and I used a pressure tester, a radiator pressure tester on the other side, and I put it up to about 10 pounds. I didn't really want to go too crazy. As long as I didn't see any water coming through here, I'm good. Because if you see water coming through, that's a potential vacuum leak. Vacuum leak's going to cause this thing to run like crap, and you'll be chasing that forever. And if you do have that, the easy way to do it is to take some carb cleaner while the engine's running and spray it all over the intake. As you're spraying that, if the engine smooths out right away, then you can kind of localize with the spray where you get the smoother running. That's where your leak is. So for those of you that didn't know that, it's a good little tip. You can also in a pinch use WD-40. For those that did, good for you. Alright, it's about as far as I got so far. You can see I had the compression release. I was going to make a separate lever for this, but I decided to keep the electric solenoid. Made this bracket for it. You can see the red there is going to get cut out because eventually this is going to get mounted up underneath the gas tank, if you could see there, and this tube, one of the wishbones, is in the way, and that's what that red is on there. I'll cut that out, and that'll clear the tube, and then with those 2 holes I'll bolt it in place. And it's just a simple on-off. Right now the solenoid is normally open. When you charge it, it closes, and when you close it, it opens the compression release. And like I said earlier in one of my earlier videos, these single cylinders, the starter motor is so small on them, it can't overcome the compression. So you need to have this compression release to start it. So I'll just wire that up, simple 1 wire to the start part of the key. It'll go on. The minute I shut the key off the start to let it run, it'll de-energize the solenoid. So that's about it. If you want to make your own intake, it's fairly simple. It's just a matter of a little creativity. Where you want to bend it, where you want to stick it. Keep in mind too the length. I know this is a little long. I may end up with a tiny bit of lag on the back end with the throttle because of the length of this, and I may actually end up running a size or two, maybe a little bit more larger on the main jet because of that extra volume. But it's easy to change since it's out here. I don't have the engine to worry about. It's just drop the float bolt, go in, pull the main jet out, go up another size or two, take it for a run and check it. And I'm probably going to end up, as you can see, it's kind of close to the side here. I'm going to stay with a very flat, round intake so the air just comes in this way. And actually this will work pretty good because even though I'll pull some of the heat from the engine onto this, it should be open enough that it'll cool itself off pretty good. So we'll see. We're getting close to starting this thing, so we'll find out. Alright, so that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it and actually learned something. If not, well, I'm sorry. I'll try again next time. Peace out, guys.